1 minute warning
to the goofball army out there. Hi at the families. Tell them to get to the next room. Tell them to go to your neighbors because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by
me and this guy coming in for a Thursday show. 4 days in a row, baby.
It's day four. Day four. No rest for the wicked, I guess, you know. Day 4 for free agency, too. Coincidence? But yeah, guys, it just we keep on thinking that the Giants are going to be done. They said yesterday they're broke and they got no more money. And I guess
what? They went to their savings bank, their piggy bank. They scrounged up some money. They opened up a lemonade stand.
Went to that couch, found $20 hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
I had that happen one time. It was a glorious day. I went on
and some used bubble gum. It was fantastic.
No, I can't do that. Anyway, we added a wide receiver, guys. It may not be a massive name. I'm not going to fool you guys into trying to say otherwise at that point, but we did add a wide receiver. In fact, we added 2 wide receivers. So let's go over the news here for the day, guys, because listen, it's free agency time period, and nothing ever stops, it seems. Alrighty. So before we get into the wide receiver news here, let's go over some of the other moves we did today. So officially, the Giants have released linebacker Chris Board. I gotta say that was a little shocking to me. Yeah, he didn't make it out of the boardroom. He got hurt week 2 last year, guys. He was a special team guy. Played 5 years for Harbaugh in Baltimore, and you know, I think a lot of us kind of thought that he'd be back merely because of that, but yeah, that didn't happen. So instead, Chris Board officially gone. We save $2.1 million against the cap, which is not that much. You know, I really feel like when I saw that, I was like, was there something that happened with him and Harbaugh? Like, he left Baltimore, Harbaugh comes, they cut him. Like, it seems like I was curious. Remember, we actually tagged him at one point to see if we'd find out some kind of information, you know, from him, be kind of a cool perspective. Like, a guy playing for the Giants, played for Harbaugh, and got nothing back. And maybe that's why we got nothing back. Maybe there's something. And I'm not saying there is. Be very clear. I'm not saying there is.
Drew is 100% saying there's an issue.
I'm not saying there. I just said I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying it does seem a bit odd. We'll say it that way. No, we heard nothing here. Stop it. Get me in trouble. But I don't know who, because they don't care. But we also, though, got a couple of guys back onto the Giants that were on last year. First off, we signed guard Aaron Stinnie back there. And listen, I think that's a sneaky good move. Solid veteran interior offensive line guy. 32 years old. Last year had a 62.7 PFF grade, 58.1 with pass blocking, 68.5 run blocking. Only 61 snaps, though. And 56 of that was in the Vikings game, which is the one game he started for us last year. But a solid run blocking interior offensive line guy. Like I said, I'm going to say this. Am I crazy to say? And again, we're nowhere near the end of free agency. We're nowhere near the end of the offseason. But hypothetically, if we had a game to play tomorrow he's probably our right tackle. I mean, right guard.
I mean, most likely.
I mean,
Maybe Evan Neal.
unless I saw Bo. Bo's one of the guys I think. Like Evan Neal's not beating him out. Like, I can't believe we're still talking about Evan Neal, but goddamn. But like I said,
Here we are.
Sneaky good player. Like again, he's not great. I'm not saying he's a steal or he's going to become a great guy at 32 years old all of a sudden, but he's a decent depth piece that you can win with, because the guy literally was a starting guard for the championship Buccaneers a couple of years ago when they had injuries.
Yeah,
so
he's not a clear number one, but he's your solid. Yeah, he's a solid replacement. Like, and Sally better than some of our starters for the past couple of years, but
not saying much. But I mean, I like our offensive line now, and we just don't know what's going on with that right guard position. That's the big thing right now. But like I said, honestly, if the season started right now, I would almost look at him as he'd be the guy. I mean, and again, what we say he does really well. We say this every time we talk about him. He's a run blocking guard. That's what he is. What do the Giants want to do?
Run.
Keep on hearing the running. So like I said, I'm kind of intrigued because he's got that experience. He has started before. He's got 64 career games now. He's been in the league now for 16 starts overall. I mean, again, solid depth piece. We also re-signed, speaking of ex-Bucks here, wide receiver Ryan Miller, who we acquired very late in the season last year. Didn't even playing a snap for the Giants there. But 13 games, 2 catches, 34 yards, 1 touchdown with the Buccaneers. Played in 60% of their special team snaps. That's where he's really more of a guy that plays special teams. 24, he had like 130 yards or something like that there. I don't have the exact stat in front of me. So he's not like 34 yards is normal for him by any stretch of the imagination. But he's not the guy that like, okay, there's our wide receiver too. Like, I think it's clear that's not the case here.
I think it was wide 5 with the Bucks.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think that he's the guy, again, if you want to bring in a guy to do special teams specifically, kind of like we had with Bryce Ford Wheaton a couple of years ago before he got hurt again this past year, like he does almost every year. That kind of player. That's what Ryan Miller is. Just without the freakish athleticism that, Bryce Ford Wheaton has.
Fair.
So, again, not too big a thing, but we got him again. We'll at least be in for camp. We'll find out beyond that. So, I'm sure you all want to talk about the big news today. And it's that Abdul Card. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Giants signed Calvin Austin III, Esquire. We're adding the Esquire. Anybody, once you get past the second, we have to add Esquire at the end. 1-year deal, $1.5 million, guys. And they're saying up to 4.5 with incentives. Now, I like that kind of deal because if you're giving the incentives, you're telling him point blank, we're going to give you a chance to have a decent role.
You would hope.
And when this came out, the first thing I thought is Timu Wandell Robinson.
That's, fair. Sheen.
And I only say that way not to disrespect Calvin Austin, but Wandell just came off a 1,000-yard season. Like, he's coming off of like top 10, top 15 kind of season of wide receivers in the NFL last year. So Calvin Austin, though, 5'9", 170 pounds. So technically he's an inch taller than Wandell.
It's not saying much.
So he's twitchy. He's extremely fast, guys. Returned punts for the Steelers as well. So he was 6th in the NFL in yards per punt return in 24. So it's an interesting, like I said, it's an interesting concept of where they're going to use him. I'm kind of curious because I love when we bring more and more returners in because you know what that tells me? Eric Gray's going away, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I did say hopefully. We said this the last like 3 years in a row, I feel like.
And it's Ogoshevsky is moving up from a punt returner.
Well, and that's the thing. He doesn't have to return punts because we have Oshevsky. we have, I dare to say, I hate to say his name in a positive light, but Deonte Banks could potentially return punts. He's just very good at kick returns. I don't know what he's tried as far as that. But, Calvin Austin is that guy that can go ahead and do that kind of special team returns. There's definitely the benefit there. But again, he's small. He's not going to win jump scenarios. He doesn't block very well, so you have to throw that part into it. The production's been just a little bit inconsistent as well. So he's played 3 years with the Steelers. 23 is his rookie year, didn't get a lot of time. 24, 17 games, 8 starts, 36 catches, 548 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Not a bad second year, especially for, a guy coming out of, doing almost nothing his first year there. Coming from Memphis, by the way, a small school, obviously, for football,
And especially, that was the year they had Russell Wilson, which probably looked his best as a quarterback, and Trubisky, and who else? They had like 3 different quarterbacks. So, right? 24, I believe that was the year.
Yeah, they've had a lot of quarterbacks the whole entire time. It's insanity.
So it's just to say, like, there was no solid quarterback throwing to him. And
24 was Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and that whole combination there was like I said, wasn't a good year. Last year, 14 games, 7 starts, 31 catches, 372 yards, 3 touchdowns. So you saw a little bit of a drop. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers came in. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe him and Rodgers just didn't mesh like that. That happens. New offensive coordinator. Maybe there's a mesh issue there. Again, I'm not giving the guy excuses, but I'm saying he had a down year comparatively to the prior year. But there's other circumstances that you could say besides him was the cause of that down stretch. I'm not saying either way. We have no way of knowing that. We'd have to be behind the scenes in the Steelers locker room, which would just be very weird. Why would the Steelers invite a Giants podcaster to the locker room?
Would be interesting though.
It would. But like I said, I like him, and I know I saw a couple in the comments saying he's a replacement for Jalen Hyatt. Well, he's not a replacement for Wan'Dale. I don't mean that he's expected to do Wan'Dale's role. That's going to be Isaiah Likely. What I'm saying is he's that type of player. He mostly plays in the slot. He does play a little on the outside as well, though. They use him very gadgety. They move him around a lot to try to get him open because they know if we got a corner on him and presses him off the bat, he's going to be in trouble because of the size difference. So, like I said, he is that type of player, a Wan'Dale-esque type of player. But as we said there, he's got a lot more speed. His speed, when he was in the combine, guys, he ran a 4.3 240. So that's where the Hyatt comparisons come in. I've seen a lot of people do the Hyatt comparisons, not just in the chat, but in the last couple of hours since we signed him. He's got that kind of speed. He's got a 39 would be amazing. 39-inch vertical jump he had as well. The kid's a former track star. So, again, he brings something. And it's funny because I've heard some people talk to him about he's like just a guy, that Jag thing. And it's like, listen, that's all we need at this point, guys. That's literally all we need.
We haven't had bodies in the receiver position in a while. I mean, look at Hyatt. I've taken from Jay over there. Let's say to replace Hyatt. That means Hyatt had to do shit to replace him.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean, we said this yesterday to you guys. The Ravens, you can look back at what they've done. They usually have one really good receiver, and the rest of them are just a guy kind of players. This is a guy that flat out is a decent depth piece that's probably going to get around 400 yards a season. And I'm going to throw this at you guys. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Jackson Dart worked very good with Oshevsky, worked very good with Wan'Dale Robinson. He worked very good with both of the smaller type of receivers we had. This is the same kind of player. The difference is he's got the speed those guys don't have. So again, I'm not going to overhype him. I'm not going to say here's a 1,500-yard receiver. Like, no, obviously not. But when you've got a guy that you can bring in the cheap, $1.5 million, maybe $4.5 if he balls out, and you expect him to probably get around 400 yards a season, I think most teams would take that kind of deal in a heartbeat. And I think he took the deal because he sees the potential because he saw what Wandale did last year.
Yeah, if Wanda could do it, why can't I do it? Kind of mentality.
It's not crazy to think that. Like, if he goes in and has, let's see, he could do in 24, like 550 yards, that's a damn good signing for $1.5 million, guys. If he comes in doing it last year, even in the year that was the down to 372 yards, that's a damn good signing for $1.5 million.
Take it all day long.
So, like I said, I'm loving this. This is a good deal here. And I think there's not a doubt in my mind he's going to have a role in this offense. And I think this is the kind of player we need. Again, I think we need one or two more of these guys. These just the guys I saw. I just keep on harping. Like, I can't believe people say like just a guy. Like, guys, 400 yards a season. You kidding me?
Just a guy, bro.
Yeah, I'll take that. You don't need to go get 1,000-yard receivers left and right. I think football fans forget this in free agency every single year. Like, oh, we didn't get the big name. Ooh. You don't need the big name. You need the best roster.
I mean, look at some of the best teams. They got one really good guy, and then they got the guys.
Well,
like, there's not many times you have a 1-2 punch. And like, it works for some teams. It does work for some teams. Like, we watched that work for the Patriots for 2 decades. They had a whole bunch of guys. Look at what Kansas City has done for the past 5-10 years. They had a whole bunch of guys.
Yep.
Like, they had, Tyreek Hill, and then they had a whole bunch of guys. Yeah, they had Travis Kelce and a couple guys. And you know what they did? They won some rings. Steelers, Ravens. They had one good guy, and they had some guys.
Yeah.
And what do they all have in common? Winning records.
I still think, by the way, guys, we're going to draft a wide receiver. I could be wrong on that. We don't know the plan, but I still think we do. And if you look at what's going on there, we got Malik Neighbors already. You got the undisputed number 1 receiver. You go ahead and get
Bills. Sorry.
Huh?
I get Lord Templar. I was just giving the shout out. Yeah, you're right.
I had like Tourette's there for a second.
A little bit. I just sneeze.
Bills.
I sneeze Tourette's into my system.
Malik Neighbor is obviously the number 1. You go ahead and you get now, like, obviously we still got Slayton. You go ahead and bring in Calvin Austin into the mix. You got Isaiah Lake, who's going to play like a receiver. You're going to have Cam and Tracy both being treated like receiver because, again, Matt Nagy's offense here. You still got, Stonehands himself there, Theo Johnson. You still got guys that you're counting on here. Isaiah Hodgins. Like, adding just one more piece like this, to me, adds where you go ahead and it really does go ahead and create a different look in this room. And that's what I think. I think you draft one more, assuming it makes sense. Me, BPA at all times. You go get one more, and then all of a sudden, you got a completely different wide receiver room. And we got true depth then. Because let's say, hypothetically, Neighbors gets out all of a sudden. Let's say, hypothetically, Slayton gets hurt. If you can call up to be one of your 2 guys, because we're going to say 2 for a second, assuming likely more of like a slot receiver. We have the 2 outside guys, Calvin Austin, Isaiah Hodgins. Like, we have guys who legitimately I feel so much better at than the freaking Jalen Hyatt type scrubs we had last year.
Yeah, there's too many of those last year.
Way too many. Now, I'm going to address one thing as well, because Jay just said this. He said, okay, BP at all times, so Drew wants Jeremiah Love.
You heard it here first.
I wasn't going to get into this, but we'll get into it real quick. I'm coming around to the idea. And here's why I say that. This is a really crappy draft. Like, let's be very frank about this, Roman. It is a really crappy draft.
Top-heavy, crappy draft.
So, you want to pick at 5, let's say, hypothetically, and there's nothing worth trading down for. who do you think is the guy that's going to be available at 5 that is probably the best player? Like, let's say like Sonny Styles is gone, Reese is gone. We know Mendoza's gone, obviously.
He's a Raider.
I don't ever want to go ahead and go crazy and take a guy that's rated like 10th at number 5.
No.
And Downs, I know, is one guy people are talking about. Let's say hypothetically he's gone. Or let's say there's an issue with the injury. I know there's been talk about him with the medical issues already. You know, like I'm just saying there is scenarios where I could be like, you know what? He's the safe pick, maybe. Maybe you do it. So for anybody who might not be aware, by the way, we're talking about Caleb Downs. He got flagged at the combine with having a partially torn meniscus and a potential degenerative ACL.
Ew.
If that doesn't at least scare Giants fans, considering our history with players getting injured, I honestly think he's going to drop in the draft, guys. He'll be gone first round still. It's by mid-first round. But I honestly feel like he's going to drop in the draft a little bit because of that.
And I think that's fair to say. I mean,
yeah,
happens all the time.
Look at like, I'm going to give this example. And
Mr.
different
Mayo.
caliber of player. Remember when we drafted Azeez Ojulari, like there was talks about him being our first round pick, and then he drops at the very end of the second round. I don't think Downs will have that kind of drop, but I do think he's going to drop because of the medical scares.
Hey, you remember when Jalen Hyatt was supposed to go to the first round? We got him in the third.
Well, that was probably more of a personality scare, just based on some of the stuff he was talking to the Dallas coach and stuff like that. And I'm seeing Tate already too. I'm not a Tate guy. I'm just not. And you know,
he likes the Golden Tate.
I just don't know. I don't like him. And Jordan Tyson can't stay healthy. So that's what I'm saying. Like, let me be very clear. I'm not suggesting we should draft Love. My whole thing I've been saying forever is trade down. But I'm just saying, I'm coming around to the idea of like, maybe there's some, you know, maybe there's some sensibility to it. You know? So, like I said, we'll see. And it's funny, Lord Templar to say what I've been saying. How many times we talk about this exact scenario? Says I see the Bengals trading up for edge. We have talked about that so many times this show, it's not even funny. So,
yeah.
Like I said, it all depends on who you like and who you think is a good fit.
I also think Titans are probably taking Love. So
we'll see. I don't disagree with you. I just had to throw that out there because I'm coming around to the idea. And I didn't think that that's what I would do. So, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, Barry. All you need is Love.
It's definitely not the need, but it's like if that's the guy and you can't move down, and that's where you want to be, is at 5 because it doesn't make sense to trade down. You're getting offered, like, say, a 3rd round pick to move down to 10 or something crazy. Then I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you got to make it worthwhile.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Can afford a team to overpay for
it. And maybe next week we'll be doing our draft reports on wide receivers there because
officially at one point.
Hopefully Monday we can start. But we always start quarterbacks. It'd be quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs next week. So we'll see. All right. Let's talk about Abdul Carter. We kind of teased with that a minute there ago. So something happened today. We don't know if this is a fluke, if this was a mistake, but Fanatics started selling number 3 Abdul Carter jerseys. Now, keep in mind, number 3 was Russell Wilson's number last year. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's a mistake. Is that his number? I don't know. I got to be honest and say what I was hoping was going to happen this year was that Russell Wilson obviously would leave us. Deontay Banks would take back his number 3. And then number 2 would go to its rightful spot with Jackson Dart. Because that's the number he wanted.
Who does number 2 work for?
The Giants. Oh. But yeah, like I said, I just think that it's a possibility, guys. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, maybe it's just a glitch, but it seems a weird glitch. It seems more like there was a page that wasn't active yet and it went active. That's what it seems like to me more.
Also, sometimes when you buy a jersey from a Chinese website, they'll get you the wrong number if they're not sure.
Just talking about your Malik Neighbors jersey.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just saying, I
That
learned
wasn't
that from a
because you bought
friend.
it from a Chinese company. That's because you bought it before he picked his number after the end of the preseason. It was a premature purchase.
It happens sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
As long as you make it up in foreplay.
That's a whole different thing there. So, all right, guys. So we had a lot of the Giants now talking to the media, a lot of these new signings and re-signings there. So every year we always give you that stuff as well. We get some good some sound bites from that. Before we do that, though, we are going to go ahead and remind you guys real quick. First off, that you can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. I don't know why I'm on the right side, by the way. This feels weird. It just did this. I didn't do it. So, but of course, there you can do one-time support payments along with monthly supports as well. And the Buy Me a Beer. We changed it from coffee to beer. And of course, we talked about our draft guide earlier. The draft guide is going to be available at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs/draft guide as well. That's going to be one of those things that will scale up as the draft gets closer, guys. So buy early, buy cheap there. And then with that, of course, we're going to be doing we're going to be over 200. I want to give the exact numbers here. We're definitely be over 200 people we're doing this year. We've also gone ahead and done kickers and punters and all these things we don't usually do. Even a fullback we've already looked at this year. So, also, of course, I don't know why I'm still on the right hand side here, but we have the store here, Two Giant Goofballs-shop.fourthwall.com, where of course you can go ahead and get shirts, hats, mugs, travel mugs, buttons, towels, all kinds of fun stuff there to support the show. And if you do a $100 purchase or more, it is free shipping there as well. But of course, the easy way to go ahead and support the show and the free way to go ahead and support the show, hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that follow, and the big one that I'm trying not to be the annoying guy, but I'm going to kind of be the annoying guy here. Hit the thumbs up. We got 157 of y'all watching right now and 32 thumbs up there. I'm telling you, it makes a massive difference, guys, in how many people get shown this through YouTube, though. So do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up. Can we get it up to, let's say, 50 here next couple minutes? I'm not saying all of y'all. 50. Let's see if we can do
Show love.
So, all right, let's get into the comments here by the newest Giants. Again, we had a lot of Giants that came in, just signed their contracts already. Some of them got up in front of the media. One just did a interview with John Schmelk, and some of the Giants stuff went up on their YouTube page as well. So we went through, watched them all, and got some stuff there. First guy we'll start with is Tremaine Edmonds. Selfishly, because I love that move. And I was very happy we did it. And I'm also going to pat ourselves in the back again because Rob and I were talking about it weeks before it ever happened. And to the best of my knowledge, we were the first podcast to talk about it. Until there was on the trading block, we knew about it. First question we got here, and we tell you guys as well, some of the answers were condensing as well, because they're like 5 paragraphs. So this is word for word what all these things that they said, but we may condense a little and take some fillers out and stuff like that, because quite frankly, you don't want to hear 5 paragraphs that he says he's happy to join the team. So first question was from Patty Traina. She says, how do you go about leading a defense? He says, yeah, this is my 9th year going into the league, and it's always been the same mindset for me. Be your authentic self, and people are going to want to lead by somebody like that. And that's something we talked about. You heard a lot about that when we signed him. This is a true leader in the locker room kind of guy, and I do think that's part of why he got brought in, because we're missing that. Quite frankly, we've been missing that for the last couple of years. But what I like about him is, from everything you hear, he's the quiet leader. He's the lead by example. And he's the guy who picks his times to take advantage of his voice. So when it's like when he speaks up, you're like, okay, this is serious now. Like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's not the guy nonstop in everybody's faces in the locker room. So when he speaks, it means something.
Yeah, he says you're sexy Dexy, making jokes in the locker room.
That guy's just got to be fun. I want to see like a reality TV show. I want to see like a reality TV show with Jermaine Elumenor and Sexy Dexy, like just pranking people. I think it'd be hilarious. Those two together would be just fun. I don't know if they're friends of the team like that, but they just feel like they'd be fun together. Now, he was also asked by Evan Barnes of Newsday. He says, what excites you about playing for a coach like John Harbaugh, who coached great linebackers? He said, I actually grew up a Ravens fan. Ray Lewis was my favorite player growing up. Just to be able to get under that same tree and get around greatness. Love it. And it's funny, we didn't even know that. We talked like about him coming here, about him being a Ravens fan growing up. That would have been all over that if I had seen that.
100%.
Yeah, like I said, that's awesome. Jordan Ronan, ESPN, said, what do you know about Denard Wilson, and what do you think you can bring to this defense? He said, yeah, definitely no, he's aggressive. I like his coaching style. I would like to say we're both coming into the situation with a chip on our shoulder. And I think that's something there. Like, he didn't necessarily want to leave Chicago. Chicago wanted him to leave.
Yeah.
And that's, for some people, that gets them going. For some people, that gets that little spark going where they're like, oh, Nike, like, somebody didn't want me. Why would somebody not want me?
It's like in that revenge body back after you break up with someone.
Yeah. And we talk about it with like, players when they, get up in their free agents and all of a sudden they don't get re-signed by the team that they were with. You got me looking at a beverage now too, so it's time for a frosty one. But I love it when it's like, this team cut me. It wasn't like they were a free agent. I was a free agent. They just didn't want to sign me and pay me. They just didn't want me at all.
Yeah, they just cut me for the money. They abused me for the money.
Yeah. And what's interesting is Chicago was an interesting defense last year. Like, they weren't great, but they were a turnover machine. And they were a big part of the turnaround in Chicago. It's funny because Caleb gets all the credit because quarterback. That's just life when you're a quarterback. You get all the glory, all the blame. That's life with it.
But I've talked about it multiple times, and like that. I mean, just besides from the Bears defense, we getting a lot of turnovers. But any defense that's good like that helps young quarterbacks develop, because like if you make a mistake and you have a defense that just gets a whole bunch of turnovers, well, guess what? That mistake isn't as costly if you have a bad defense.
And like
because
I said,
if you make a pick six, or if you like just turn over and whatever the case may be, like, and your defense can't stop the outside of the ball, guess what? Points are going to put on the board. But if you got a team that gets turnovers, well, guess what? You might turn over the ball and get a better field position down the road.
Yeah, and I do think that you're going to see a difference, by the way, in the Chicago Bears team this year. So, you look at the difference in the fact they lost Eric Bieniemy, who developed the good run game they had there last year. They lost now Edmonds. I just, like I said, I think some people don't understand always. Edmonds is one of those guys that I'm not saying you look at him and go, oh, that's the best linebacker in football. Like, that's craziness to even say something like that. But he's that guy that is above average with the leadership. And that's something that you can't always replace. Look what happened with the Giants when they got rid of all the guys that were, like the Leonard Williams kind of guys that were the leaders of the room. So, it's amazing that the two guys that got two of our leaders in Love and Williams all of a sudden won a Super Bowl this year. Just saying.
Mm.
And Jay brought up a great point too, because the Giants did want Tremaine Edmonds before they got Okereke. Like, Edmonds was the guy they went into free agency to get. So keep in mind, on top of that, there is a relationship with him and our our lead scout, Joe Shane. Call him that. I was that G. I'm the GM. But it's
the general manager of scouting.
Yeah, but the two of them had a relationship from there, and he talked about it. He mentioned it when he was talking to the media that the two of them would talk, and he'd say sometimes it was just quick and passing stuff, and sometimes be in-depth conversations. But the two of them had a relationship when they were in Buffalo. So he made it a point actually to congratulate Joe Shane on where he's come to now to be a general manager now, going onto his 5th season. I mean, we still question if he's actually the GM anymore, but still he's
a GM. Start it.
He told us that over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Anyway, next up is, I think at this point, like almost everybody's favorite, giant in general at this point, Jermaine Elumenor. Like I feel like he's turned into like the team mascot in this whole process, and I'm here for it. I'm loving it. Always liked his personality, but
yeah,
he showed his true colors this week. He definitely showed his true colors. Dan Duggan of The Athletic asked him, he said, what was Monday like for you, and what ultimately led to you coming back? Jermaine said, a little stressful, because obviously I like the anxiety of just trying to figure out what's going to happen. I wanted to be back here. I didn't really want to go anywhere else, and I'm just really glad it all worked out. It worked out, and let's be very frank, it worked out very well for the Giants, guys. I'm still, and I see Lord Templar saying the same thing, I'm still stunned by how low this contract was. I thought there was no way in hell that he was going to get at least $18 million.
Try to tell you.
I can't believe this. Like, think about this. And again, I'm not trying to knock Linderbaum for the contract he got. Are you telling me that he is worth less than half a Linderbaum? That's what he got.
You're right, but Linderbaum also got way more than he should have. So
I don't dispute that.
So that's not 100% of a fair analogy, because he got overpaid.
It's also, though, not a great free agency class, which makes people usually overpay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not complaining. I'm loving it, though.
He's loving it.
I don't hate it. The guy if he gets some more money, obviously, in the process, but we got out cheap. And I'm here for it. Ed Valentine said, you played for Coach Harbaugh earlier in your career. What do you remember about him, and what kind of player is he getting now? He said, Coach Harbs is the type of guy that's going to love you hard, but he's going to coach you harder. He's going to hold you to a certain standard and a certain expectation. That's pretty damn good. And I think that's pretty much exactly what I expect of a guy like Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Like, I really do expect that. Like, I think he's the guy that's going to go in there and he's going to get on you. But he's also going to get on you with respect. And there's you could be tough on people without being a jerk. Like you really can. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. So, like I said, I that's exactly the kind of answer I expected there. Real quick, before we go on to the next statement there, we got a couple of guys who are helping us pay the bills here. So we got to give a little shout out here. Jesse Montanez, 4661, $2 super chat, says, Goofs just sub, fan since 1975, since Scott Burner. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, he goes back. We only started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3.5 years
ago. He means the Giants.
Okay.
This show has not been around since 1975, I'm pretty sure. Unless it started without me and you, and we were, not around yet for a while. Also, Jay with the $3 super sticker there as well. Appreciate it, man. Thank you always for the support there. And I wish it would show the sticker that you used too, by the way, on here. Unfortunately, it doesn't on the StreamYard, the platform that we stream onto, but I can see it here on YouTube. And it's like a chicken doing the fist bump thing, but it's a green chicken for some reason. I don't know why it's a green chicken, but like I said, I just think that they just don't have that limitation, I guess, with StreamYard for whatever reason. But I appreciate you guys for supporting and Like I said, appreciate Jesse there for subbing as well, guys. We've had a big stretch of new subs, by the way. So I do got to give a little thank you guys on that as well, because we got through kind of a slow spell, so to speak, I think is the proper way to say it, because of the fact the team's been so crappy. We get it. But we've had, I'm trying to think here, about 60 new subscribers in the last couple weeks there. So definitely appreciate it. We're now 79 people away from 2,000 subs, by the way, guys. So that's definitely a goal for us to hit that soon. So if you can help us out, if you haven't already subbed, do me a favor, hit that sub. And of course, again, that thumbs up. I'm going to be a jerk and keep on asking. We're at 54, by the way, right now with 138 of you all watching. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up there. Let's get back to the questions that you had, though. So Paul Schwartz asked, he said, why are you dressed up today instead of wearing team gear? So Jermaine Elumenor, by the way, he showed up today in a suit and with no tie, though. That's the one thing that didn't do. But it was like a green shirt with a little pop collar with a gold chain, dressed up. And, you know, most guys, when they do this stuff, they're going to like New York Giants sweat gear, and they're just signing a piece of paper, and then they're going to talk to the media for a couple minutes. So it was a little different. I'm not going to say odd. It was different. I could see, honestly, I feel like I would wear a suit in that kind of scenario, because I wear suits to job interviews even. I'm like weird like that. I'm old school.
I'm old school like that too.
And as somebody who does a lot of interviews and has done a lot of interviews, I can't tell you how rare that is. By the way, anybody who's out there and doesn't wear a suit to a job interview, wear a damn suit. You will almost always get hired. Automatically. Unless you just say something really stupid. In that case, you're on your own. Chase's Alibaba suit. No, actually, the suit
birthday
I wear
suit
is Joseph Abood, actually. Okay, not Alibaba. So, anyway, Jermaine said back, he said, because it means a lot. This truly is an important event, and I just wanted to show how much this meant to me. I got to say, he comes off as the most appreciative guy out there to get screwed in free agency, I feel like. Seriously, he should have flat out got paid a lot more money. Should have point blank been paid a lot more money. And for some reason, he's not. It's craziness. Absolute craziness there. But he just loves the fact that he knows he has enough money between the last contract we gave him and this one here that he's set up for life. His family is set up for life. And that's got to be an awesome feeling. Hopefully I'll get there one day myself. One day.
Just not today.
Day. The goal is to get the first million. From there, it's the second million. Gotta give it a shout out here also to Jesse. He gave it a 2-hour super chat. Said, guys, I live in Philadelphia, Beagle Land. Help me.
Thanks, brother.
I'm going to help you right now. I'm going to give you the biggest resource to solve this problem right now. Zillow.com. Oh my gosh. I couldn't do it. I got good cheesesteaks, I guess, at least, but you know.
Well, it depends where you go. What area of Philly are you in?
See, I'm weird though. I have to have ocean near me. I can't live without ocean.
I'm similar. Yeah.
I have to.
I do a lot of work in Philly, and it's just different.
In fact, I'm going to the beach tomorrow.
There's one part of Philly where you're just hanging out, like right there by the water, you know.
Yeah, but that's the river. That's not the ocean.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
I said the water. I didn't say the ocean. I said the water.
I know. I'm saying I need ocean. So anyway, Pat Train asked another question. Said, you played over 1,000 snaps and had one of your best seasons. What do you attribute that to? Jermaine said, every year in my career, something's been on the line. I've always played with a chip on my shoulder. Like someone's been chasing me and I'm trying to keep the lead. I'll believe it. He's still got that mentality. He still does. Like, you know what I think is interesting is I'm going back to 24 season for a second here. Remember the TJ Watt thing where he felt like he won that battle, so to speak. And it was like, oh, TJ Watt kind of had a good game. He still didn't control the game though. And Elumenor took some pride in his work like that. And there's a lot of stories like that coming out of him point blank saying, I want to be on one-on-one. I don't want help. I want you to be able to help somebody else.
Yeah,
like Greg Van Roten talked about on Twitter. He said point blank to because somebody put that story up there about him hating getting help, hating getting chips, hating getting any kind of help on his side. And Greg Van Roten's like, yeah, you do that, he'll yell at the coach. I love that. You know, because he doesn't respectful. It's not like he's pulling a Hudson on the sideline and flipping out. I love it because that's him just saying, I want to help my team. I want to take this on. I want the help to go where it needs to go. Like I said, I think we're like starting the Jermaine Elumenor fan club now.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Elumenor's goofballs.
Ryan Dunleavy asked, he said, what went into the decision on Monday and why did you choose the Giants? He says, but I mean, I wanted to be here. I didn't want to be anywhere else. I wanted to continue to be a New York Giant because I love this team. He also, in his talk with the media, gave a shout out to the fans, too, talking about how much he appreciated all the fans and the fact that the fans have embraced him into part of the Giants culture and everything, too, as well. So, it's funny because we always talk about, as a fan, what can we do? What can we do to help the team? What can we do to get the team to do the right thing? In a way, guys, you can all pat yourself in the back here. Because I believe when he says it, like, he's been embraced by the fans of this team more than anywhere else he's played. And it matters to him. It does. It really does matter to him. You can tell by the way he was talking about it. So let's get on to the next re-signing guy, Micah McFadden, who also talked to the press there. So unfortunately, I couldn't tell a lot of these who asked the question there, and I hate when that happens. I want to give credit to the people that asked the questions. Giants media, by the way, I doubt they're listening, but got to tighten up your stuff a little bit there. A couple of the videos weren't even out there yet. I got one, actually, we'll talk about in a minute, that was just another Giants reporter put the quotes up. We're able to get something like that. They should all be up. So first reporter said to Micah McFadden, how much did the injury complicate your search and your decision to re-sign here with so many unknowns? He said, yeah, it does complicate a lot of things, not being able to put film out there, but obviously the Giants, obviously being here with the Giants the whole season and then them seeing me recover helps. I mean, it does. If anybody knows what kind of work he is or is not putting in, it's the Giants. It's getting healthy. It's getting everything right. So yeah. I'm cool with it. Next question, again, unfortunately, I don't know what the reporter was in this one here, says, did staying with the same people who you're part of your rehab become a big factor? And he said, no, for sure. It plays a huge role. It's a huge factor in all this. Having them see me and knowing what I already got to by the end of the year, that was a big piece of all of this. So again, we seem to have a level of trust in his rehab. And I just gotta wonder how much of a market there was for McFadden, honestly, guys. Like, there was a lot of linebackers out there. Okereke's still sitting around there, by the way, guys. I haven't heard anything signing of him yet. Like, let's be honest. Who do you think gets signed first, Okereke or McFadden?
I mean, obviously McFadden.
But I'm saying if the Giants didn't want him hypothetically back. So listen, we felt comfortable. He felt comfortable. He took a deal while he had the chance to get a deal. That's how I look at it. Dan Duggan asked him, he said, where are you physically right now? And he says, yeah, doing great. I've improved a lot even since the end of the year, working with the Giants and getting back to a place where I was able to go back home and start my normal offseason program, doing everything I needed to do to play football this year. So, yeah, he's back in my neighborhood again, guys.
Friend of the show.
About that. Well, no, it's funny because I just happened to mention that he lives in Tampa and works out in Clearwater, and I live in Clearwater, so it kind of became the running joke. But that's good for him, though. If he's back home and he's doing his regular stuff there, that's really good. I like that. I'll take that 100%. And like I said, I think he's kind of that buy low with the potential to buy high kind of guy. Like, he's had a couple of years back to back with over 100 tackles. We got him dirt cheap. So I said this is one of the deals I love. This is one of the guys I was hoping to get back even. Worst case scenario was a depth piece of linebacker. Best case for him, we don't get another linebacker, and he's linebacker number 2. And all we did with linebackers was just change the backups and change out Okereke for Evans. Still an upgrade.
Hands down.
Yeah. Let's see. Dan Duggan also asked, do you think you have any limitations this spring? He said, no, I don't think I have any limitations. So that meaning he should be ready to go for camp. Good to go right from the get-go. Evan Barnes from Newsday says, what's your mindset now after missing almost all of last season and coming back in a one-year deal? He said, yeah, it means a lot. I'm excited to be back. Obviously, missing all last year was disappointing for me. I wanted to go and perform for this football team and help them win games. Well, should we break it to him we didn't win a lot of games? Or
if you add up all the seasons.
It's all your fault, Micah. It's all your fault. You were there helping us win games. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like I said, I like the movie. So next reporter asked, what's your excitement level about playing for John Harbaugh and the new staff? He said, yeah, I'm really excited. I think it was a phenomenal hire. I think they got a great thing going that they're building around here, and I'm excited to be in this scheme. That I thought was interesting. Being in this scheme. So, we'll have to see there. I'm curious here because I see this Zach Bond in the chat. Where's Zach Bond? Is Zach Bond actually in the chat? I doubt it. Now, he was also asked about Tremaine Edmonds as well, which I thought was interesting. So Tremaine Edmonds, he said, he was asked, what is your reaction to Tremaine Edmonds joining the defense? He said, bringing in Tremaine, I think, was a great addition, and I'm excited to get in the room with him and learn from him and put this thing together as we get going in the off-season program. So, yeah, like you said, he good there. He was also asked about other options as well, which I thought was kind of a bold thing. Like, is this the only option you had? I mean, we kind of insinuated a minute ago, but it's like, you don't ask that question. That's kind of the jerk question, right? Like, so Ed Valentine asked it. He says, did you have some other options, and was there any question whether this team was going to want you back? He said, yeah, there were some conversations going on, and there were some other possibilities. But I spoke with the coaching staff and some people in the building over the weekend, and I knew there was a possibility that they wanted me back, and I was excited to hear that. I'm just going to throw it out there. He didn't say that there was conversation with other teams. I noticed the wording. Yeah. Just saying, I did notice the wording. So, all right. Let's get to, I think, probably everybody's favorite new Giant, personality-wise, because I'm already having fun with the sound bites for this guy. Pancake Patrick Ricard. So this is one, unfortunately, the Giants didn't put this out on their social media for some reason. I don't know why, but I was able to get a couple sound bites from members of the media that were there. So he was asked about his role, and he said, I'm here to do whatever they ask me to do. If they want me to run the ball, if they want me to throw the ball, I'm going to do whatever I can to help this team. If I have to play every snap, if I have to play one snap. I mean, that's a pretty generic answer, if we're being honest. Now is where the fun comes. He says, he was asked about what it's going to be like blocking for Cam Scatterbo. And let's be very frank. Every single one of us is going to love the first time we see that. Like, we are looking forward to that. If that ends up being a 1-yard gain, we're going to be so disappointed it's not even funny. Like, anything but taking it to the house, goddammit, is going to be like insane. So he says it's going to look like a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. It's going to be physicality all over the place. It's going to just be exactly what the people want to see. Goddamn.
Love it.
I want to see him and Scatterbo do an interview together, goddammit.
I like running through things. Walls.
The two of them like
walls.
Going head first at the telephone poles together. Like, this is going to be like insanity, guys. Oh my gosh. He was also asked about his decision to follow John Harbaugh from the Ravens over to the Giants. And he said, as soon as I saw John Harbaugh got the job here, I was definitely interested. I even told him, if you were coaching a Pop Warner team, I'm interested. So
Fantastic.
yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. Like those, I'm telling you, those two together, it's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much goddamn fun to watch. And that's the one reason why I'm like, I don't know if I want Love, because I feel like you're going to take away the place and the fun of Scatterby and him. Yeah.
Listen, we had a lot of fun just watching Scat last year.
We did.
Now watch the two of them.
And you saw Scat just like running into people full steam, and he's not that big. But imagine that with a 300-pound guy in front of him. Like, that's insanity. Oh my gosh, it's going to be fun to watch. One last guy that we saw talking to the media there when he signed his contract officially, and this guy didn't talk to the media that I saw. The only video the Giants put out there was an interview with John Schmelk. So he was asked by John, why did you choose the Giants? And he said, Jason Sanders, our new kicker, said, new staff, it's a super exciting team to be a part of, and it's an exciting part of my life for a change, and I thought it was a good fit. Okay, generic answer.
Okay.
So John said, does it excite you to play for a head coach that really values special teams? And he says, it's going to be a good experience having a coach where you know how important the special team units are. And he understands the different factors that go into the kicking game. You know, and what's crazy is I didn't think about this beforehand. Like the kicker perspective. Like, okay, I'm not going to name any names. We've all had bosses that don't know what the hell you do for a living, basically, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that they couldn't do the job as well as you do it, but they're your boss. They may not understand every particular aspect of your job. Like, we've all been there. It must be like that as a kicker. You know what I'm saying?
It has to be.
Like, I mean, seriously, like how many head coaches do you think actually understand the intricacies of all the special teams plays?
Joe Judge.
Joe Judge. As long as you don't get your girlfriend pregnant, he's happy. He'll never live in that soundbite. But seriously, I said I did not think of that until then. It's got to be frustrating. It really, I would imagine so. Like they're trying to give you advice, and they don't know how the hell you do what you do. It probably happens all the time. So he was also asked, what allows you to be so consistent on field goals under 40 yards? He says, one main part of kicking is have a repetitive swing. If you repeat your swing, it doesn't matter where you are in the field. You know how to go through your routine and mechanics.
Seems pretty easy.
Yeah.
Sounds like we oversimplify kicking.
Honestly, it's really not that difficult per se, as long as you have the right technique and you can repeat it, like you said. I feel like part of the biggest issues with the kicking aspect is people just getting their head. You know, like it does happen all the time. Like, you know, so, you know, it's got to take a certain kind of personality. That's for sure. He was also asked about the new kickoff, a rule change that the last couple of years. Said, has the new kickoff rule changed your approach? He said, it takes a load off the leg for sure, but with that comes more precision. You're not just pounding it out of the end zone. You need to place it. Thank you. Can we all collectively go, yes, you have to place a kick? Because we've been dealing with freaking Scottish Hammer just hammering it down in the end zone. Or how many goddamn times did Jamie Gillen do a kickoff and it go out of bounds, and the guy, you know, whatever team were pacing that week had the ball at the 40-yard line? I feel like that was a common occurrence.
Very.
Yeah.
Like
so
95% of the time, I feel like.
Yeah. And you know, it's gonna be interesting there. Now again, keep in mind, we talk about stuff. We're all grew up in the New York area. At least most of us grew up in the New York area. We know all the stuff about that and things to do, restaurants to go to, things to see. For some of these guys, they'd never been in New York really, except to play a football game. like it's an exciting thing for them. They get to do that. And he was asked, he said, what were you excited to experience about New York off the field? He said, always wanted to go to a Yankee game. Hockey games are sweet. Knicks games too. Go see a show. There's plenty of things to do. So low key, it sounds like he's a Yankee fan.
I mean, he pretty much said go see a Yankee game. So
that's the first thing he said. Not Statue of Liberty, not the Empire State Building, not go have some pizza. It was go to a Yankee game. So if you're a Yankee game, know that a Yankee fan, know that your kicker for the Giants is most likely a Yankee fan based on what you're seeing. That
watch this the Red Sox fan just trolling.
So as Dorothy says, Chat GPT wrote his response. Oh my gosh. All righty, guys. Well, listen, that's gonna call it a night for us. I don't want to say we're getting back tomorrow because we're hoping not to be, quite frankly. And I actually have plans tomorrow night, so I can't even come on. So I would say you're probably not going to see us guys again until Monday unless something crazy happens. But listen, it's been an exciting week. Four episodes in a row. Like I said, a lot of new subscribers, a lot of new faces we've seen all week long too as well. So appreciate y'all. Again, if you haven't already, got 168 of y'all watching right now on YouTube. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. We're at 65 now. Can we get it to 75 real quick? That's a reasonable.
Wow.
I think that's reasonable. And like I said, we'll be back Monday. Usual schedule. Just give you guys a heads up. Anybody who's new, because again, we've had a lot of new people popping in. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is our usual time there. We're always 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Times when we go live. Of course, we are live as always on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch, and of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. And of course, as always, the Spotify gets the video usually within 24 hours as well there. So again, guys, we'll see you guys again Monday. Unless something crazy happens, we have to figure something out and do something crazy over the weekend. I saw Jay's comment. If we've re-signed GVR, yes, I'll probably want to pop on if we re-sign Greg Van Roten. I just got to figure out when I can do it and still be married. So it's very important. No, we're going out tomorrow night. I was telling Rob beforehand, we're going out to St. Pete's having a big St. Patty's Day festival this weekend. And they have a local Irish drinking band. I call them. I don't know if the actual term is for them, but they do Irish drinking songs.
It's Dropkick Murphys.
No, it's not the Dropkick Murphys. They're in Boston. They're not local. To
the boys are back.
Rowdy Boys, actually. So, but they do like a whole bunch of Irish drinking stuff. We enjoy that. So we're going to go because it's a free concert. Nice free night out on a Friday night. You can't beat that. So, again, guys, we'll see you guys Monday. Unless something crazy happens between now and then. We'll see you guys there. Appreciate you guys for listening, supporting. Appreciate all the newbies there. We'll see you guys. Appreciate it. Have a happy, safe weekend. If you're celebrating for St. Patrick's Day,
get a DD, Uber, Lyft.
Yes, just play it safe.
Have a friend.
That's all I ask ahead of time. Just play it safe, guys. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all Monday. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.